All right. Welcome to the TruExact Show. Today we have a special guest with us. Well, I'm joined here by the two other guests, Mike and Brian, but our special one is John Jastremski. You might know him if you listen to Fan as JJ After Dark. John, what do you want to be called? JJ, John, does it matter?
Guys, whatever your preference. I think JJ is always easier, and I'm very happy to be on, although I got to admit, I'm quite jealous of the setup you got back there with the Jeter, the bottle of wine. I mean, I guess that's the pitfalls of living in a one-bedroom apartment right now. You know, I can't deck it out to my man cave fancy. Not yet, at least.
I've been summoned to this is my basement. My wife kind of summons me or sends me down to do this. So I figure I make it a little nice. You know what I mean?
No, I like it. Very, very artsy, very old school. Yankees. I mean, tremendous. A
little story about this bat behind me. 1996, really quick. 1996, Jeter's rookie year. We actually met him, and he asked which one was the youngest, and it was me at the time. I was with my brother and my one friend, Cody, and he went and got the game-used bat for me and signed it and gave it to me.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm looking to sell
Jeter
it.
from the ground up. Hey, listen, there you go, man. If there's some value in it, I mean, you know, that's a tough one to sell. I mean, if times are tough, I don't know how tough they are for you. That's a tough one to sell, though, man.
It's very hard.
I don't think you can get rid of that.
It's very hard. No. I thought you were gonna get mad and jealous because we had CeeLo on before you. We actually interviewed him last week. So
no. CeeLo's family. Come on, man. I'm not that vindictive. I'm not that bitter. Come on now. No way.
I'll be happy to know. We told him he was the first non-rapper we've had on. You're the second non-rapper, so thanks for coming on, man.
Nice. So I'm batting in the 2-hole. Okay, so there's a lot of pressure now.
Pretty much.
Unless you want to give rap a shot right now.
Yeah.
Oh, no, definitely not.
Okay.
Maybe if you guys send me over – how about this? If you guys send me over some rap lyrics, then maybe the next time I come on, I'll freestyle with a guide. But me literally just coming on right now and trying to rap, no, I don't think I need that.
Gotcha. I'll go straight for you, and you can spit it on your overnight, and then say.
There you go. There we go. Just keep the foul language to a minimum. I could throw that on here. I don't know if the FCC will allow me to, drop a couple F-bombs or whatever.
Right. All right, so JJ, let's get into your career path, man, because you're on overnight. Everyone loves you who's around us. You're one of our favorites on the Fan. Let's get into your career path. How'd you get into radio?
All right, so I'm in high school on Staten Island, New York, Petrides High School, and basically you get to the realization, boys, all right, you're not playing in the big leagues. What are you going to do with your life? You know, that kind of deal. And WFAN was around. I was like, holy smokes, this is awesome.
What age do you get to that at? Because I still have my dream.
I mean, listen, the dream changes, though, boys. I mean, listen, sometimes the dream can change and evolve. Like, the initial – like, right now, my current dream is to be on the PGA Tour. I mean, that ain't going to happen. So, I mean, listen, when you're barely breaking 100, if you're lucky – then no, you're not going to be sniffing a PGA Tour. But, hey, I could get a dream, right? But,
of course.
I guess probably around 13, 14, I was like, all right, this whole radio thing is something I would want to do. So I was, like, looking into, all right, what college could I go to? Where is there a good place for me to kind of get the ball rolling after high school? And it kind of led me to Syracuse. I go there for 4 years. It was great. Great times, great games, great parties, the whole deal. And I graduate. And I was pretty prepared. I mean, it wasn't the sort of thing where I went to college, went to class, and then said, oh, here's the piece of paper. Fuck it. I'm ready to go work. No, not quite. Like, I was doing radio shows then. I mean, I'm working over at the 2 stations there. I'm doing post-game. I mean, we did the show from the 6 overtime game at Madison Square Garden. So, like, I don't want to say cocky, but I was fairly confident. I'm like, all right after college, I'll be in a good spot. I'll get a job. Now, as it turns out, I'm like 7-8 months out of school, and I'm not working in radio, which sucked. I mean, it was miserable. So I'm not on the air. I'm doing some part-time sports reporting down the Jersey Shore, making nothing. I don't even know what I was making at the time. Basically covered my gas and, a couple of drinks and a bite to eat or whatever. But FAN had this Fantasy Phenom contest, and as I'm sending out demos, I was like, this is perfect. I go, I got to give this a shot. Goes from 1,000 people to about 50. Then they cut it down to 5. And I don't know how well you guys know the Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
But the finals were at Bar A on Mike's show.
Right.
So
Wow.
once I got down there, I mean, I'm with 4 other guys, and, you know, no disrespect to them in any way, but I just felt I had such a leg up because of all the experience and, you know, the reps and everything that I had. I interviewed David Robertson. I remember killing AJ Burnett. And long story short, that's how my start at FAN began, by winning a contest.
Where did you go on the contest? Was that at Woodbridge Mall?
Yes. So I started at Woodbridge Mall. Then the final 50, they broke it up into 5 groups of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at Stout right by the Garden. They had like a little setup in the basement. So I was at Stout. And then, of course, the finals were at Bar A, which was just, I mean, wild. It's electric to think about.
Yeah,
So
Was it like kind of surreal for you? Like when you cracked that top 5, you're like, holy shit, I'm in the top 5.
Well, I was fired up about it because I'll be honest, boys, my main thought is no matter what happens, this is going to be really, really cool for my demo. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, wow, I'm on Mike's show. I knew at the time, even if you lost in the finals, they gave you like a 2-hour show, like over the holidays or whatever. So I was like, all right, bare minimum, I'm doing one show.
It's like losing on American Idol.
Yeah, you could have been the Clay. Yeah, you could have been the Clay Aiken to Ruben Studdard.
Yeah. Hey, listen, did Carrie Underwood win? I don't even know. She did win. Well, you guys would agree, she is probably the most successful out of anybody on that show.
And Kelly Clarkson.
What about Kelly Clarkson? Yeah.
Right?
You guys have put Kelly Clarkson musically, like success-wise, ahead of Carrie Underwood?
Actually, you know what?
No,
I'll go Carrie Underwood.
Yeah.
I
feel recently that's why. I mean, listen, Carrie Underwood, I mean, flawless every which way. Don't get me started. But yeah, man, it was like one of those things where minimum, I'm like, all right, I'm in a good spot here. But it didn't really dawn on me how many people were out in the crowd, because you guys know Bar A, it's massive.
Yeah.
And I'm basically sitting under a tent for 4 hours watching everybody else go by. But then when I go up a little bit before 5 o'clock, I get up on the stage. Mike gives me the, hey, kid, how you doing? You know, the whole deal. And I look out in the crowd. I'm like, holy shit, there are a lot of people, man. But, you know, you just go. Like, you turn a mic on. It's second nature, and you let it rip.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't teach that. You're built for that shit. Like, you just know you could talk. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it is what
Yeah, that don't intimidate me. Like, honestly, like, people ask me all the time, do you get, like, nervous? Do you get, like, anxiety getting ready for a show? No. If I know I'm in my comfort zone and I know I'm like working in a situation that works, that makes sense, I don't stress about any of that stuff at all. Now, if I'm put in a situation I don't feel great about, that's where you get a little bit of anxiety. But, you know, for the most part, like me going on and like letting it rip about like a football game or a baseball game, and if I watched and I know what's going on, it's easy.
Well, luckily, if you would have lost at Bar A, you could have just went and played Beat the Clock, you know?
Oh, I did, and it's funny. So plenty of times I was down at Beat the Clock on a Tuesday night, and the weekend or the week after we won, where I won, like it's a team, you know what I mean? But I found out on Monday I had won the contest, and after going, I kind of had a sense that it was looking good. But you don't want to count your chickens. You don't know. I didn't know what the process was or whatever. So when I get the call from Chernoff on Monday, I texted a few buddies. I go, yeah, we got to go down to Beat the Clock Tuesday and celebrate.
Right.
Mm.
Did you like, the more you were drinking, did you like, hey guys, I'm the winner? Like, do you remember?
No.
No,
None of that humble brag type stuff. No. Maybe, you know, maybe we have a good guest or something. We have a good week of shows. You know, be like, oh, we killed it this week. But nah, I was too new in the game to be like pounding my chest. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So who was your favorite host on the Fan growing up? I got to throw a name out there again. My favorite on the Fan is Lori Rubinson. Just throwing her name out there again. But who is your
Lori
favorite?
does good work.
Yes.
Lori does good work. I would say for me, the guys I listen to the most, Mike and Chris, obviously, because they were institution. Joe, and more Joe when he did the overnight than when he did the midday, because I used to fall asleep with the radio on.
Yep.
And then the other guy who I listened to a lot, and I worked with him as an intern actually when I was at Sirius, and he's a crazy cat. He's pretty damn good at what he does, Adam Shine. So those are the 3 guys that I would say for me as like someone who grew up with the radio station. It was like Mike and Chris, Joe, and then I got into Adam Shine, and then working with him at Sirius, I was like, this guy has got his shit together.
Wow, that's man. Go on. Hold, do you have something to say or no?
No, I'm good right now, man.
Sorry. All right. So your show title. How'd you pick JJ After Dark? There's got to be a story. Did you write? It's like when you're writing lyrics, you crumple it up and throw it out. Did you have a whole list? Like, nah, that's not a good one.
Well, guys, listen, this is a great story, and I'm glad that you guys brought up this question. Yep. I did not come up with JJ After Dark. So I play on a men's league baseball team, and I did for many years. Doesn't look like there's going to be a season this year, but nonetheless. And one of the guys on the team, when I won the contest, I knew I had like 3 or 4 weeks before my first show, and he goes, JJ After Dark. And I was like, I like that. Yeah. I think that sounds really, really good. I'm going to roll with that.
It does go good.
I did it the first couple of shows. Then I got an email from one of my bosses. Now, I don't know if this was Mark Chernoff or Eric Spitz at the time. And basically they were like, come to JJ After Dark. We don't need it. So for a couple of months, I didn't do it. And then all of a sudden, I don't know why. It was basically like, the hell with it. I'm going to do it. If I get yelled at, I get yelled at. And sure enough, it became more and more of a staple where, I mean, geez, it's one of those things where you don't want to get like typecast, like guys in like a mob movie or, like anybody on Full House where you're like, or a soap star where it's like, oh, that's all you can do. So in some ways, I've always been very, very mindful of that. But, at the end of the day, when I'm on during earlier times, if I'm filling in or I'm, doing this or I'm doing that, we drop the After Dark then. But when I'm on at night, it works. That's really the best way to look at it.
It is perfect. It's a great title, actually. It just sticks. So I want to ask you, you don't have to answer if you don't want. I know they threw you in with Maggie and Bart when Carlin got let go. What happened with that? Was there ever an option you were going to be with them, or were they testing the waters? Was it your decision to stay overnight?
A couple of things here. All right, so number one, when it comes to the 3-person show, I absolutely hated it. And this is no secret. I mean, I'm not breaking any ground. Like, this is anybody who's talked to me, anybody who's heard this, I just don't like the way that sort of show flows in any way. So I made that very, very clear that as much as I'd like to be on earlier in the day and get more exposure, that was just not a fun week for me. And I wouldn't blame either one of them necessarily. It's just 3 people, in my opinion. In many ways, it's a lot. It's a 2-hour show. You're dealing with calls, trying to get a word in. And for me, the biggest key with doing a show with somebody is this organic partnership that I need. And it's not even the idea of me dominating the show. I don't look at it that way. It's the idea of, guys, I want to go in. We watch the games. Now, obviously, with everything going on in COVID-19, that's been thrown, 10 zillion different loops around in circles. But basically, for me, it's very simple. I want to watch games. All right, I see you a half hour before the show. Hey, what's up? We'll eat with the Yankees tonight? Great. We're going to do Mets at 3? Great. That's what I want. I don't want to do shows before I get on the air because I think then it sounds rehearsed.
I agree with that.
I think it's lame. Listen, everybody's got their own method. But, like, for me, that's kind of non-negotiable. Like, if it's going to be something where I'm sitting in, like, hour and a half meetings before I get on the air, that doesn't work for me. So like,
you straight up would rather have it be, like, at a bar just shooting the shit with your friends. Just
correct,
like,
because, listen, guys, that's the best, in my opinion. I'll take it for what it's worth. I think that's sports radio at its best. And, that to me is something that is very, very important. I need that partnership one-on-one in that regard. So, listen, it never got to a point where I was going to be, getting moved or whatnot, but I made that pretty clear to anybody who was listening that I have a certain vision for what I want a show to be, and if I don't feel that's what it's going to be, then guess what? I'll not work on that show. That's all.
Yeah. Wow. So if you had one preferred time slot you'd want, though, what would it be? Just like if you had to pick of a litter by yourself.
I'm not even necessarily by myself. Afternoons. I mean, who wouldn't want to be on the afternoon? I mean, listen, that's drive. I'm not a morning guy myself. Now, the mornings are rough. First of all, I think you have to do a very different kind of show, and our morning guys do a really good job of that. You know, they keep it lighthearted. They're always working into humor and whatnot. Listen, I can be funny every now and again, but I'm not like doing bits. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I feel in a morning radio vibe, that is what the audience wants. That's what a lot of people are looking for. You know, for me, that's not really what I do. I'm more react to the games and going on and just letting it rip that way. So, you know, for me, I think I'm better suited to being on like, you know, like a midday slot or an afternoon slot. I could never see myself between the stylish show and the hours working the mornings. I think the mornings would just be, I did it for a week. It was fun, but man, it like messed me up every which way.
Yeah. So, and also touching on like the morning show, like I know there's some like beef that goes on with them and Michael, whatever. You stay out of all the radio beefs, right? You stay out of it all.
I think it's stupid, to be honest with you. And listen, you know, those guys have some fun at my expense, and it's fine. I'll bust their balls when I need to. And it is what it is. I don't take it personally. I know some people maybe want me to take it personally, but you have to understand. I think the mistake a lot of people make is that they try to make a lot more of it than it actually is. You know what I mean? Like, let them think that's their bit. And I always look at it, listen, you're spending 10 minutes on your show talking about me, more power to you. I mean, glad that I am, you know, that much of a service to you that I can provide content. So, yeah, you know, like, listen, you get along with some talents more than you get along with other talents. But that's life. I mean, if you're in a workplace, there are certain people that you're very, very tight with, I'm sure, at your job. And there are other people that, you know, you talk to them when you talk to them. That's all.
You know, within 5 minutes of meeting someone, if you can mesh with them, it's just what it is. Like, you really do. You know, it's just kind of like a organic camaraderie or chemistry you have with someone. So
you feel someone's vibe. You're just like, I might not get along with you well.
I mean, and that's human nature. Listen, that's okay. Like, but I think for, you know, somebody who's on the air, you got to make sure you're in a partnership that works. Right. And if you don't believe it's going to work, then listen, it's your ass on the line. That's what I tell people all the time. I like the idea of the accountability one way or another. And, you know, I like working with a partner and I like working by myself. I think there are there are times where I'm talking to myself and I'm like, damn, I wish I had somebody to throw a lot of this stuff up against. Aside from a caller. That way I debate, you know, I have somebody to kind of keep me grounded. But then there are other times where it's nice in a way where you can just go, let it rip, talk to the callers, and go from there. So, you know, for me, guys, throughout my career, I really want to make sure that I get a chance to do partner radio and solo radio. I hope that I can continue to do that, but we'll see.
Right. Before we get into the Yanks, because I want to touch on I got this little thing I want to do. So we're all different fans of different teams up here. I'm a Cowboy fan, Brian's a Steeler fan, and Mike Hall's a Dolphin fan along with you. So I want you to give the draft grade for each of our teams you thought on how they did. What do you feel about the Cowboys?
All right, Cowboys, love it. Absolutely, positively love it. You got CeeDee Lamb who fell into your lap, and I
thought we were getting CeeDee Lamb.
It would have been nice. Now, listen, we'll get to the Dolphins in a minute. But he's one pick away, and even though Dallas, right, guys, didn't have that, like, clear-cut needed wide receiver, he's too good a talent to pass up. They go get a center. They go get a defensive back out of Alabama. And the Cowboys are one of those teams that has shown you they know how to draft. So I give the Cowboys, I give them an A-. I think they have a killer, badass draft. Very
nice. What about the Steelers?
All right, tough to judge because they don't have a first-round pick. Right. You know what I mean? It's not, you can't look at the Steelers draft compared to the Cowboys or the Dolphins, who have 3 first-round picks, and be a big winner. But hey, Claypool's a stud. I liked him. Yeah, I'm a fan of his. I liked him at Notre Dame, and the Steelers know a thing or two about drafting receivers. And look, I mean,
Anthony McFarland too, the running back.
Well, and that will be the guy probably take the reins from Connor at some point. Yeah. But you're not complaining about that first-round pick with the impact that Fitzpatrick had on your defense. I mean, he was all over the place.
It was well worth it. Yeah, it was well worth it.
Yeah, it was pretty annoying watching him do as well as he did.
I wasn't particularly in love, but you know, the one saving grace in Minka Fitzpatrick not buying in with the Dolphins is what you saw from the head coach.
Yeah, I
second
love
half of the
Brian
year.
Flores.
That
Love
team,
him.
the fact that they won 5 games with that team is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
That team was basically signing me and you off the street, fellas, to go play. And
Yeah,
they
I've been
won
playing
5 of their
soccer.
remaining 9 games.
No.
I agree. All right. So what grade do you give the Steelers? A B or something?
I give them a B. Yeah,
All right.
B minus. They didn't do anything that would be like, holy smokes, what's wrong with you guys? But again, tough to be a big winner in the draft when you don't have a first round pick.
Now let's get to your coveted Miami Dolphins. You and
We
my
got
friend
to
Mike
it. That's
up
all that
here.
matters. We got to it.
Well, I'm fired up about that. Listen, I'd give the Dolphins an A minus on the draft. The only reason I'm not giving them an A is because I would have preferred them maybe trading back up into the first round to get one of the stud linemen. But they filled a bunch of needs. They're protecting a hobbled quarterback, but he's a stud. Listen, I am fairly confident that if Tua plays more often than not, he's going to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league. And they could not pass up the chance in taking him. If they took Justin Herbert, oh my God, I would have been miserable. Yeah, it would have been a lot of sleepless nights, boys. Oh my goodness.
Justin Herbert reminds me of like another Josh Allen. He's inaccurate, can't hit an open. I don't know. I don't want that.
Yeah, and listen, you saw with film, I say this all the time. Don't let the film try to like play a trick on you. The film don't lie.
Right.
I mean, it was obvious.
It's not that good. That's it.
But with such a better quarterback in game than Justin Herbert, yeah, you take that guy. Yeah, you saw what he was able to do in a national championship. And the it factor and the buzz.
Like
the Dolphins, you guys know this. They haven't had buzz and relevance since Dan Marino. Now they got legitimate buzz.
What about Jay Fiedler and Ricky Williams?
Well, listen, Ricky Williams for like a year or two.
Before he went
on his like shrooms and marijuana excursion.
What about when you guys passed up on Drew Brees for Dante Culpepper?
Yeah,
that's what I mean. I mean, you pass up on Drew Brees, you pass up on Matt Ryan, you don't take Russell Wilson. You wonder why the Dolphins have stunk for 2 decades.
But you didn't like it as Mike said up there. You didn't like John Beck. You didn't.
What about Cleo Lemon? What about that guy?
I have to admit, the guy I got sucked in on.
Right.
You guys might see this. Chad Henne.
Really? Yeah.
I got sucked in on. For a year, I got sucked in on Chad Henne. That's one I'd like to have back.
I have to ask you, JJ, because like me and Mike agree with this. We've always said like we take the guy from a smaller school who led them to relevance as opposed to the guy like Alabama, right? When Tua was out, they still were putting up 50 points a game. So how good are these guys? How like?
No, but Tua is different though, man. Tua.
I guess. Like, do you feel like worried about that though? Like how good are they if they're surrounded by the top talent in the NFL? Or like I'm a big proponent. I've said this since December of Jordan Love.
You got Tony Romo.
Well, Tony Romo's a great quarterback. We'll get to that later. So like,
well, no, use the example of Roethlisberger. He went to Miami of Ohio. That is not a school of any relevance. He went there and he brought them to a winning season.
So, like, does that bother you at all? Does that worry you? Or what Brian said?
Listen, I think each situation is different. Deshaun Watson came from Clemson. That's a big-time program.
True. Yeah.
He ended up having great success. Eli Manning, who is, I think, a future Hall of Famer, Ole Miss. Tom Brady, even though he was a late-round pick, Michigan. Yeah. So, I think it is a case-by-case example.
Okay.
Look, Tua was surrounded by talent. Yes, I can't overlook that. His wide receivers are going to be playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
But
Joe Burrow was too.
Yeah,
Joe Burrow was as well.
Yeah.
And guys, Alabama from an offensive standpoint before he was the quarterback, their game was predicated on
running
the football, pound it down your throat, let the quarterback basically try not to screw it up. All that changed when Tua became their quarterback. Now, maybe it's the changing landscape in college football and Nick Saban being smart enough to realize that, guess what? I got to open it up in my offense in order to win. But, I mean, look at what Tua was able to do. I mean, he played as well as any Alabama quarterback not named Joe Namath. So he took it to another stratosphere. The only question I have about him, guys, is durability. That's it. If he plays, I think he's going to be good. I really
My favorite thing about him is when he throws to a receiver, he puts it in a spot where like the receiver can keep running. It's not, you know what I mean? Like he leads receivers, he throws them open. It's not just he's very
insanely accurate.
Yeah,
he's insanely accurate. And my thing usually
huge in the
quarterback
NFL
is you need that. You can't teach
That's
that.
the most important thing you can have.
Like Josh Allen has all the tools. Josh Allen's accuracy is still a problem. And I got to be honest, the Bills, as good as they are, and I think they're the favorites to win the AFC East, unless you tell me Allen can really improve in that area, that to me is going to be something that holds them back.
I think that's why they really drafted Jake Fromm in the later rounds, because just in case.
Yeah,
it could be a little bit of an insurance policy. Also a fifth-round pick, too. So, I mean, they're hoping that if, you know, the guy who's kind of throwing his body around like a rag doll goes down for a game or two, they have somebody to feel better about than, dare I say, Matt Ford.
Hey, you know what? I just can't escape, as a Cowboy fan, I just can't escape redheaded quarterbacks at this point. So it is what it is.
You know what, though, for a backup,
he's great.
Like a lot of people. People are making a big deal of the Dalton thing. The guy is getting $3 million. He's going to back up. No brainer.
No, I agree. And if Dak now the leverage, if Dak really wants to hold out, I mean, Dalton's not bad. Like, he's really not. So go on.
And he's not good either.
Be quiet, Brian.
You don't want Dalton playing playoff games for you.
No.
If you have a situation where Dak is out 4 to 6 weeks, he's going to be able to win you maybe half or more than half of those games.
You know what the thing is, though, with the younger guys, especially with top prospects like that at quarterback, it really comes down to, I feel, what teams put around them. Because when a lot of these guys, all right, yes, they're very talented, they can have great careers, but they're thrust into situations where they have to win now. And they're with a coach who needs to win, because if he doesn't, he's going to get fired. So they just put pieces around him that they think it'll work, and they don't kind of put a system together. And listen, I'm a Steelers fan. I hate the Patriots. I know both of you guys do. I know Scott doesn't. But you have to take a look at what Belichick does with talent and how he puts his systems together and how people flourish in it. How someone could step in that first year and be productive and actually make a difference. Whereas someone goes to the Bengals and they're a top prospect and they're to shit in 2 years. You know?
But think about it with Dalton, though. Dalton had success in Cincinnati. Now, he didn't make the playoffs.
Yes.
I mean, they had about 3 or 4 straight winning years. They won the division a couple of times. And I thought Jacksonville is where he's going to end up because of his relationship with Jay Gruden. I mean, that's where it started. So, you know, the Bengals recently have fallen on hard times, but if you compare them to like a bunch of other teams over the last, 6 or 7 years, they're probably like right in the middle of the pack.
Well, I was using the Bengals just as kind of an example, but I'm just saying in general, a lot of the younger quarterbacks that go to these teams, Raiders, Bengals, Jags, all of them, they end up dropping out after 3 years, and then they back up somewhere, and it's like, this guy was drafted in the top 10. He was in the first round. What happened?
Well, there's no patience
I mean,
anymore.
that's the Derek Carr example, right?
Yes.
I mean, or David Carr.
David Carr.
I do that all the time. David Carr was a guy who was a top pick and had no chance with the Texans. And you know what? He never recovered because he got his ass beat. He had all sorts of concussions. And you kind of get that, that shell shock factor of being whacked and being hit. And that is the example to me of a quarterback who, never was given a fair chance and never was able to handle it.
So how did you become a Dolphin fan?
All right, so I've been asked this a lot. So it's the Jets and the Giants were awful when I was a kid growing up. I mean, the Boomer, Rich Coe type Jet teams. The Giants were like the most miserable team on the planet. Dave Brown. So basically, guys, for me, it was like, okay, this team is miserable. That team is miserable. Dan Marino was doing his thing. They were a fun team to watch. So that was it. I mean, I'm a young kid. I got suckered in. The Dolphins, my squad.
You know what? I hope for your sake they're good, but I hate my friend up here being happy, so I can't root for him. That's just how it is.
That's all right.
I got one question.
I totally get that. Bragging rights, fellas. Exactly.
I
get it.
Is there a small party? Is there a small party, John, that thinks Jarrett Stidham's going to come in for the Patriots and be like the next Tom Brady and ruin our lives for the next 15 years?
No.
Believe it or not, no, I'm not willing to go there, but I will say this. I think there's a grand plan in place with the Patriots. There always is. I don't know if it's Jarrett Stidham, but I guarantee you they're thinking maybe about next year's quarterback crop, and the Patriots will be back. Make no mistake. If Belichick is there, they will be back at some point.
Yeah.
So, JJ, you're a bigger Yankee fan than Dolphin fan?
Man, that's impossible for me to answer. I mean, it's like it's like I don't have kids, but, when that time comes and, you have 2 or 3 Rugrats, it's like, do you have a favorite kid? I mean, like, and, some parents might say, yeah, I do. This one's a pain in the ass. I can't stand them. But, they're your kids. They're your blood. So, like, for me, it's the Yankees, the Dolphins, and Syracuse basketball. And the Knicks were there, but they have been so bad and they have just sucked so much joy out of me that I have to admit they have, like, fallen down the ranks where it's like they need to, like, somewhat earn my trust again before I'm going to be, like, fully emotionally invested in their overall well-being. Because, listen, the Dolphins haven't been good, but it's the NFL. It's 16 weeks a year. It's easy to look past. I mean, the Knicks, for the better part of 2 decades, guys, it's been miserable. So, long story short, though, that's an impossible question.
I just have to say I'm a Kansas Jayhawk fan, and I'll never forget the 03 championship. So it is what it is. God bless.
Hakeem Warwick, baby, in the corner.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a horrible time. So, how'd you become a Yankee fan? Was it just your family upbringing? That's normally what happens with baseball, I feel.
I mean, my dad is a Yankee fan, yes. My mom is a Yankee fan, yes. But it was more me just getting into it myself. I mean, it's 93, Don Mattingly. I'm starting to play. And, like, the idea of just watching them every night became, like, my thing where I became, like, baseball obsessed every which way. Baseball cards, video games, playing. So, from, like, 95 on, I mean, I've been a fanatic every which way. I feel like the 95 season is really the first for me where, like, I vividly remember details and games and particular plays and whatnot. So
you got your heart broken in 95 with, the hit down the line in Seattle. That was the first time your soul was ripped out, right?
Oh, I hysterically cried. You don't have to remind me. I mean, I was crying like a baby. I made a total fool of myself. But, thinking about that series, as painful as it was, who knew 4 out of 5 titles would be coming your way? So, looking back on it now, doesn't hurt nearly as much.
Sometimes you got to lose heartbreaking to win. Happens.
Yeah. What's your favorite? In 2000, that would be the last time we got to watch the Dolphins win a playoff game.
Yeah, almost 20 years. Don't remind me. 20
crazy.
20 years. Crazy.
What was worse for you, JJ? The 95 loss for Seattle or Marino's 63-7?
Oh, the Jaguars.
Last playoff.
Well, I mean, I always say, guys, when you lose a game like that,
get blown out.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier.
It's easy.
Because it's like, wow, we suck. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't belong. We weren't on the same field as that team. Now, it was depressing because you knew probably it was going to be Dan Marino's last game in a Dolphin uniform. But anytime you lose in stunning fashion, like 95 or the LeMahieu and to Altuve last year in the LCS, or I think back to 2002 when the Dolphins had an 11-point lead with 5 minutes to go, trying to clinch a division, choked to the Patriots, Jets smoked the Packers, and then the Jets were the team winning the division. That is always going to bother me a lot more than my team just getting flat out whooped.
I'm pretty sure one year Mike blamed the Florida Marlins for the Dolphins losing because, like, the dirt was...
No, it was Oakland, I think.
Oakland, yeah, because he said Olindo Mare couldn't hit a field goal on dirt.
Field goal off the dirt.
Well, not only in Oakland, but in Miami for a long time.
Maybe it was.
The Marlins were playing in that stadium. And there was a game the Dolphins played in New England. And I love Olindo Mare. I mean, he was clutch kicker.
Yeah, I like
this guy. He had a good career, but he was kicking on the infield dirt, and he missed like a 35-yard chippy that would have beat the Patriots. And that was when New England. Now, listen, that continued over the years, but that was like the rise of the Patriots.
Yeah.
They never, ever won in South Florida. And I remember they walked off that game with a Troy Brown touchdown. Brady chucking it down the field to Troy Brown. They won that game.
Jeez. So as a diehard Yankee fan and Dolphin fan, would you ever, I don't know if you're married or dating someone, would you ever date a Red Sox fan, a Mets fan, or date a Jets or Pats fan, or no, not at all?
No. I wouldn't. Now, listen, my girlfriend thankfully rolls with the punches. She's a big Yankee fan. She comes to me all the time. Football, I'll be honest, guys, she is not a big fan of. Like, she is a casual fan, but she does not appreciate the fact that on Sundays I'm basically a zombie for 11 hours. And guys, this is a great story. So basically, we're in a couple of years into dating, and she lives in Astoria at the time with two of her girlfriends. So, I slept over the night before. I'm watching the Dolphin-Jet game at 1, and, it's a 3-hour game. It's over. And the Steelers are playing the Seahawks at 4:25. And I had a couple of bucks on the Steelers. It's football Sunday. I ain't moving off the couch.
Mm-hmm.
And, the roommates, I could tell, were like, is he just going to sit here the whole time? So, basically, they didn't say anything, but they basically said it without saying, yeah, after this 4 o'clock game, I got to scurry back home and get ready for Pat's Broncos at my place because I can tell that I am no longer welcome. So that whole idea of football for 11 straight hours every Sunday is not something she's in love with. But, she came to London. We went to London together for Dolphins. We've gone to Miami for Dolphins. I hope we could go to Miami again at some point. So, she knows for my sanity that she wants the Dolphins to
know what? They can't understand. Some of them don't understand how, and it's fair for them. Be honest. It is kind of ridiculous how we could literally sit in one spot for 12 hours and just watch one sport. It's true, but
that's what we do. See, and the problem for her is her brothers are sports fans, but they're not like us in the sense that they're going to be there 11 straight hours on the couch. They'll go outside. They'll do this. They'll do that. So when you grow up with that, and you all of a sudden are thrown into somebody like me, it's a little bit of a culture shock. Yeah. She accepts it. That's the best way to look at it.
Yeah.
It is acceptance. She deals with it. She doesn't love it. But, hey, football Sundays, guys, it is what it is.
But the best is, though, sometimes, too, they catch you because there'll be a weekend. I'm like, hey, do you want to go to the beach? And she's like, why? Did the Cowboys play on Monday night or is there a bye? And I'm like, yeah, so what? So you got to choose your battle sometimes,
Well, guys, I will say that the work excuse between not only doing Overnight Monday, but the idea of I'm doing a Sunday morning gambling show at SNY, and listen, I miss being on TV. That's why the beard is coming in crazy. My hair's all over the place. I miss doing TV, but I do my gambling show Sunday morning. So basically, Sundays I'm hitting the ground running, working every which way, which helps.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you. Sorry, go, Hall. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a question I was going to ask you too. Is it a lot funner or more fun doing radio now that you could actually talk about gambling? Because we're big gamblers too, especially with football. Is it
listen, it's something I've always done.
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely embraced it more over the last couple of years. And, there was a time where it was like, oh, how dare you talk about gambling?
That's what I mean.
Now, listen, that was such entitled BS garbage every which way. And it's like, like one of the worst kept secrets on the planet. So now, because not only a station like FAN, but you see on ESPN, I mean, they're showing the point spreads every game.
It's legal now.
It is Americana every which way. I enjoy talking about it. I never want my show to be exclusively a gambling show.
Right.
Gotcha.
But there are plenty of times where, Football Friday, you better believe I'm going over every game and I'm going over every spread.
Right.
Because guess what? People want to hear about that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, they do.
I know I do.
Segue into that. Can you give us your worst gambling not money-wise, but just a game you remember, are you kidding me? Like a last-second shot or a dumb bet you made. And you're like, why did I even bet this shit?
It's always the bad beats. It's never the game that you get crushed. It's funny, we were talking about that with 62-7. You don't remember games where you're dead wrong. For example, I picked the Packers to cover against the Niners in the NFC title game. Could have been more wrong.
Yeah.
That's an easy one to sleep on because it's like, wow, I just messed up. I was dead wrong on that game. But one I was thinking about the other day, the national championship game with Villanova and North Carolina. And listen, I guarantee
was that the Marcus Page three-pointer followed by the three? Yeah.
Nailed it. Now, listen, I'm sure that if I go back and dig up some bad beats over the years, I could think of ones that were way worse. But just to have your heartstrings kind of pulled with the idea of a remarkable, insane shot to tie the game, laying a point, and then seconds later to have, boom, the three-point shot go in, I was rather sick that night. I was out of it.
God.
Yeah.
All right, JJ, before we let you go, there's something I love to do with our guests, right? Gun to your head segment. Did this with CeeLo, do this with all the rappers.
All right, I like this. Okay.
First thing that comes to your mind, whether or not you're picking it, some are sports, some aren't sports. It could be anything. You ready?
Let's do it.
Scorpion or Sub-Zero?
Oh, Sub-Zero.
Nice. Blow Pops or Tootsie Pops?
Pops.
All right. Last shot, Game 7 of an NBA Final. Do you want Reggie Miller taking it or Ray Allen?
Oof.
Wow. Reggie Miller.
Oh, I agree with that. I'm with you. All right. Would you take a Dolphins Super Bowl if it meant 5 years of Yankees last place seasons in a row?
Oh, jeez.
Oof.
I would.
Yes.
Yankees have won how many times?
That's why. Listen.
That is true.
As much as I love the Yankees and as much as my summers would suck, guess what? I've seen 5 championships. They have paid debts to me in more ways than one. And I don't know if the Dolphins are ever winning a Super Bowl. So, yes. In not a lifetime, 5 years, I could suck it up for 5 years.
Right.
I'm going to be unbearable if the Dolphins ever win a Super Bowl.
That's what I know.
Two of us. That is 2 of us.
All right, this is from my friend Glikos, who threw it in. Old Yankee Stadium or new Yankee Stadium?
Oh, my God, old Yankee Stadium. That's not even
I
close.
agree.
That's not even close.
He also wanted to know, ninth inning, would you rather have Mariano on the mound closing or Jeter up at bat trying to win?
Mariano on the mound closing.
All right. From my brother who couldn't join tonight, would you rather catch a TD pass from Marino or a third strike from Rivera to win the World Series?
Considering that I probably run the worst routes as a wide receiver imaginable, hell yeah, catching a pass from Dan Marino.
All right. Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones?
Wow, that's a great one. Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I
Even
would
with
take
the ending?
Sopranos. The ending sucked.
Okay.
I understand the ending, but it was so good. Sopranos over both. And shameless plug, we got Steve Sharippa and Michael Imperioli the next 2 nights, by the
All
way.
right. Nice.
Oh.
Best uniforms ever?
Yankee pinstripes.
Okay. De Niro or Pacino?
Pacino.
Ooh. Jay-Z or Nas?
Jay-Z.
Jaws or Jurassic Park?
Jaws.
Cool Ranch or Nacho Cheese Doritos?
Cool Ranch all day.
All right. Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees?
Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, I'm with you. He was the man. So, for sports, this is what we asked CeeLo. You could have a walk-off in a Game 7 World Series home run, overtime goal to win the Stanley Cup, hit a game-winning shot, NBA Finals, or catch a touchdown pass to win the Super Bowl. What do you take?
Walk-off homer.
I think most people pick that.
Yeah, walk-off
Because
homers
I
all
could
the way.
pimp, you know why? Because I could pimp it around the bases. That's why.
Yep.
Fun dip or bubble tape?
Oh, God. I don't know. Bubble tape.
Would you rather be a contestant on Legends of the Hidden Temple or Double Dare?
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Absolutely.
Blue
These kids
Bear
are so
Cudas.
stupid. These kids are so stupid on there. Would you rather face a giant spider or giant snakes if they took the world over?
Spider or snakes is what you're saying?
Yeah, like 50 feet high they grow.
Spider.
Really? That would creep me out. I don't know.
Well, I'll be honest. What would scare me above all is like a room, like Indiana Jones has like the room of snakes. If I was in a room of cats, forget it. I would never make it out alive. No, that like these like crazy cat ladies that have like 20 and 30. Yeah. No, dude, that would like creep the what out of me. That'd be crazy.
Mario Party or Super Smash Brothers?
Smash Brothers.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you rather have a billiard table or a ping pong table?
Ooh. Billiards.
Gotta ask these 2 final ones. Cargo shorts or jean shorts?
Oh, no. Jean shorts and no. Cargo. You have to do one, cargo.
Yes, definitely cargo. Who wears jean shorts?
They're gonna make a comeback.
No, I mean, listen, I'll admit, when I was like in middle school, that was like a thing. Like people were rocking the jean
back
shorts.
in the day.
Then you get to high school and it was like, oh, dude, you can't be wearing these anymore. No good.
Yeah.
Took a little longer for me to get the memo.
That's all right.
All right, last one. Once again, this could decide if we're friends. Rivers or Romo?
Romo.
Yes!
Oh!
We got 3-1 on Romo versus Rivers. So CeeLo's the only one to pick Rivers right now. So we're better friends, me and you, than me and him.
Nice. I'll make sure he knows that.
Before I let you go, JJ, plug yourself. What's going on? When can we catch you and where?
Well, guys, I'm overnights Monday to Friday, FAN. Saturday now, I'm working during this crisis, 6 to 10 p.m. And I hope that at some point I'm going to get back to SNY whenever we get back to programming. So, for the time being, it's a whole lot of staying safe, remote radio shows, social distancing golf and runs, and talking to guys like you.
Nice.
Awesome.
Hey, man,
let me ask one more question before he goes. Now, being as you're in the field that you're in, do you have any type of and I wouldn't want to get you to give away secrets or anything like that, but do you have any type of insider information on what they're doing as far as canceling with baseball season or anything like that?
Guys, I can assure you, I have zero insider information. If I did, I'd love to break it. I'm with all you guys. I follow along with Jeff Passan, and I saw the Trevor Plouffe tweet that was out earlier today.
He just tweeted that July 1st or something.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I hope Trevor Plouffe is a genius, because I'll sign right now for baseball on July 1st. Long story short, guys, listen, I'm not trying to minimize this. I know this is serious, and I know people have been affected. But at some point, we need sports back in our lives. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
For our sanity, for our medical, first responders. I talk to so many doctors and police officers who are coming back at night and they're saying, man, I'd love nothing more than to come on and have a game to talk about. So, listen, as soon as it becomes feasible, we need sports back. Even if there's nobody in the stands, we need it happening.
I'm sure your girlfriend's at the point now where she'd love for you to sit and watch football for 11 hours. You're probably
you're right. You're right about that, guys.
Yeah.
I'm shocked. She is fully on board with sports coming back, so that way I can stay out of her hair. Yes, amen.